All right. Welcome, everybody. We are live with our regular Wednesday Q&A, which is free to all of those who just have self-publishing questions. It is not something you have to pay for in order to take advantage of, and it is my way of giving back to the author community. My name is April Cox. I am the CEO and founder of Little Labradoodle Publishing. I have also help others to publish their books and have published well over 1,600 authors through my various programs, coaching over the past 6 years. And so the reason why I pull these kinds of situations together, of learning environments together, is because there are way too many of you that are being taken advantage of and aren't quite sure where to turn to get information about self-publishing, and you don't know who to trust, right? So I'm here to share my knowledge, to answer your questions. And today I even brought a special guest with me. His name is Brett. He is an amazing former student of mine who's produced a children's book, also a teacher. And he and I met earlier. I was interviewed for a YouTube channel that he is helping to manage. And we talked about AI a little bit. And he was showing me some of the stuff that he's doing with AI that I thought was really interesting. In my earlier session today, I went in and talked about AI at 1 o'clock. And so if you haven't seen that, it is live on my YouTube channel. And I talked about how you can create your Amazon listing, keywords, your bio, and a bunch of ways that AI can help you. And we did not dig into the AI, how AI can also be an assisting factor for book illustrations. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to bring Brett in to share and show you a little bit about what he's been doing as a way of just exposing you to new things. So without further ado, I'm going to have Brett join me here. We'll put a spotlight on you, Brett. And why don't you go and introduce and talk a little bit about your background before we jump in and take a look at some of this great stuff you're doing.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's nice to be here and thanks for inviting me here. Um, my name is Brett. I was in April's work group in 2022, in the spring of 2022. It feels like yesterday, but it was 2 years ago, apparently. And she helped me publish my first children's book, which turned out really well. I don't know if you guys will be able to see on here with the blur, but this is it, and it came out pretty well. Liked it, and it even got the coveted featured deal from BookBub in December of 2023, which was pretty cool. So yeah, that work group was really awesome. And just speaking on that before moving on to talking about AI and illustration is the one thing about that group was just the fact that you had like support there. So if I had a question, I mean, once, twice a week, I could ask those questions and not have to worry about trusting different sources on Google or YouTube. I mean, there's lots of ways to do it, but it's nice having someone that you know who has done it before, and you can trust them. So that was one of the biggest things that saved me so much time and money publishing that book. So yeah, that was really awesome about that work group, and it's evolved so much since I've been there in the last 2 years. I mean, they've got a new workbook, which I didn't get, unfortunately, but yeah, it was really amazing. And yeah, so I got into publishing when I was living in China, and I was teaching English over there. That's when I first started to write, and from there it evolved to this book. And then once AI came out, all the wheels and gears started turning, and I started thinking about what could be done. How can I use AI to help me illustrate a children's book? And I know there's a lot of controversy out there. I'm in the AI is good camp. I don't think you should use it if you're copying someone else's work, and you're stealing their IP. But with a lot of the new AI, um, it's basically training, especially with the Dolly and Midjourney and all the AI illustrators. It's trained on different images and illustrations, so it's not copying it illustration for illustration, and it wouldn't even be able to put out probably something close. If I said make the Mona Lisa, it might be able to get something pretty close to it. But even in like Dolly, they have restraints where if I said create a Mickey Mouse in the style of Disney, it would say we can't do that. Sorry. There are some AI that will allow you to do that, but um, with some of them too, it just flat out tells you you won't be able to do that. So you don't have to even worry about copying someone else's work. Um, so I started this new children's book in December, and it's kind of evolved into a series. And the one thing about using AI to create a children's book is you're never going to get the same image. So if I wanted to create a girl with red hair and I wanted to maintain that character throughout the book, you could find a way to keep it similar, but you're not going to be able to keep it the exact same. So with AI, I mean, I wouldn't recommend making a book right now. It's more work than I expected, but I would recommend using AI illustrators to help you with ideas for your book, or if you're creating the brief. So when you're going to your illustrator, a lot of times they'll ask for a brief for each book. So page one, this is the illustration I want. You can give them a description and then some example pictures. So what really helps is using AI to give you ideas for that scene. So you can say, let's say a little girl falls down and scrapes her knee. You can type that into ChatGPT, which is integrated with Dolly, and it'll give you some different images that you can work with. And then you can use that. You can give that to your illustrator, or you can tell it to adjust the image. So you can go in there and say, do it in a whimsical style or do it in a 2D cartoon style, depending on what your illustrations are like. So that's one of the big things I think AI is going to help us with, help me with, help you guys with, is just being able to give you ideas and communicate better with illustrators because they can't read your mind. And I know sometimes they might be in another country, which was the case with my illustrator. And if you don't speak the language, there's always that little bit of a language barrier. So there'd be times when I would try to communicate what I want, and we would get halfway there, and there would still be a gap, and then I would have to go back with my graphic designer and say, hey, can we change this a little bit? But I think AI illustrations are going to help you because you'll be able to make different variations of that scene and say, hey, here's kind of what I want it to look like, rather than taking a image from Google. You have a lot more freedom to create these images. So I think that's one of the really big things
I
that's
think that's
gonna.
great. I
Mhm.
I use it. I think it's an awesome opportunity also for us to for me and my grandkids to just collaborate and envision new characters and like let's try, what if we did this and what if we did that? And sometimes you can even, do a little bit with Chat GPT to say, what are some of the most rare animals? What are this, an animal that does this or that? And then you get some ideas and you're like, okay, let's see if we can create that character. Or with the upcoming book that I have coming out for this next Christmas season, we had to try to kind of put together this grumpy cat because we were running into the same thing that you were saying about like the illustrator didn't quite know what we were talking about. And we went back and forth for a while with AI and we came up with like, that's him, we got it. Now let's just send that to the illustrator and
Yes,
have them keep it in like, that's what we mean. So yeah,
exactly.
it's
Exactly.
fun.
And there's times
Fun.
like that when you make an image and you're not sure what to expect and the image comes out and you're like, wow, that is amazing. I need to use that.
Yeah.
So it generates those ideas. And like you said, you can work with your kids and do it. It's just fun, a fun thing to
And
activity to do.
even generating things for say a social media post or for a Facebook ad that's going to capture attention. Those are really
Yes.
cool.
Yes. I have actually cut my newsletter creation time in half with AI, and it allows me to put out my newsletter once a week. So I spend an hour a week making my newsletter, and I use the illustrations and I use ChatGPT to help me with the text too. So that's one thing. Once you guys start building your email list and a newsletter, it cuts your marketing time in half. It's amazing.
So you can do a lot more with the same amount of time, or you can just spend less time doing the marketing by using these kind of hacks and then spend more time writing more books. That
Yes, yes, exactly. And I've got a couple of tabs up. I don't know if I can share my
I
screen,
was I
but
was just going to ask you if it would be okay for you to like share some of the stuff you're creating
yeah,
because I
yeah,
think a picture's worth a thousand words, and I think it'll help people understand more about what's possible and how you've been using it.
yeah, I'll show some of the things I've been working on, and then I'll kind of get into ChatGPT to show you how I've done it.
Mhm.
Okay. If I can figure out how to share my screen. Oh, there it is. Okay. Um, Actually, this is an email of mine that I'm working on a couple of birthday invitations with a friend, and this is created with Midjourney AI, so you can kind of see how amazing it is. But let's get into my books.
Oh, wow.
So I'm creating it's kind of like a phonics book, and there's two versions. I'll show you both versions. One is a science fiction version, and the other is kind of like a Candyland format. And so these are some of the pictures that I've generated. This is the first version. I realized that maybe the lightsaber might be a trademark infringement, and I don't want to mess with Disney on that. So I'll show you how I've changed the lightsaber. But as we go through, um, these are all the images that I've been creating. And like I said, it's not perfect. There's sometimes when you get funky hands, that's one of the big things is ChatGPT and Dolly is pretty good at it. Midjourney is not very good at hands, but you have to be careful when you create an image because it looks amazing, but then there's the little details like two tails on the mouse. Um, but what's really nice is if you're using Canva or something like that, you can actually go in and use the magic eraser to erase something that you don't want. So if I go into edit photo and over here, you'll see magic eraser. You
Mhm.
can go in here and adjust the size of your brush. And let's say I wanted to get rid of this hilt. You just brush over it. And sometimes it takes a couple tries, but usually it's pretty good and it'll blend the background in. So you don't need to be an expert in Photoshop or anything like that. And it's gone.
Love it.
Um, so that's the really cool thing about using ChatGPT, DALL-E plus Canva. You have all these tools to create these images. And with some of them, if you're struggling, um, I do find like with this first image, oh, this one, the mouse is gone. I had to create this image and then don't spend too much time on one image because you're just going to keep going and you're going to get more frustrated because it's not putting out exactly what you want. So if you're trying to get two characters, create the main character, and then create a second character with a white background, and then you can just copy and paste them into your illustration wherever you need them. So that's another thing is with Dolly and Midjourney, they are not incredibly good at doing multiple characters. Dolly's getting better, but see, like this one, the cat, I had to create a separate one. So this one, the page is going to be the map can see the cat, but AI doesn't really understand like a map with an eye trying to look at somebody. So there are still some limitations. So yeah, these are some of the sci-fi ones, and then there's some. Now this one is Midjourney, so you can kind of tell the difference, and you can ask for different styles, but Dolly kind of gives a bit more of a realistic illustration, whereas Midjourney with these ones, it's kind of a little bit more illustration-y, 2D almost. Portrait-y illustration. I don't know the word, but you'll be able to tell if you played around with both. In here, you can see the mouse. I had to do a magic erase. So for example, you can go in Canva and do a magic edit, and you choose your area. So if you brush here, then, and Canva's all right in terms of generation. Not great. It takes a couple tries. You can generate new images. So it'll put hopefully a mouse. We'll see.
I saw that they had this, but I didn't I hadn't played around very much with the magic edit and the generation of AI, and this is relatively new. Canva is a free tool that does have also a paid version if you want it. But yeah, it just recently introduced these AI features that you can type, especially like with some of your social media, you can say, and like somebody else had said here, about 5 women drinking wine. You could put that into the thing and then see what it generates, but it does
Yeah.
allow you to do something like that.
Yeah, you probably would get that one. I would say if you're trying to specify where the women are in the picture, it would be really difficult to get that. But you can, yeah, with those group ones. So so this is kind of the Midjourney, and then let me get into so this is what I was doing to create the cat and the mouse sci-fi. You can insert your own images. So I could upload an image in here and use it as a reference image and say, hey, create an image based off of the one I give you, and it would output something similar. So with Dolly, it's a lot better at understanding regular human conversation compared to Midjourney. So with Midjourney, if you say, create a cat that's sitting on a rock and the mouse is talking to the cat while the sun is setting, it would be easier for Dolly to understand that than Midjourney. Midjourney is more, you just need to be technical. A cat sitting on a rock next to a mouse.
Yeah.
And it'll understand that better.
I had a question, Brett. One of the folks here was asking,
ask away. If you have questions, ask away.
Are these tools all part of ChatGPT? And I know the answer is no, but when you're talking about Dolly and ChatGPT, could you just like take a step back and kind of just do a little introduction of those AI tools?
That's a good idea. So with Dolly, actually now, I don't know if you can get access to Dolly without having access to the upgraded ChatGPT, which is $20 a month. So now ChatGPT and Dolly have really kind of integrated. So while you're having a regular conversation, like create me a marketing plan, it creates you a marketing plan. Now create me an image for that marketing plan. it'll do that really easily. I don't think there's access anymore to just DALL-E. So if you're using ChatGPT and you've upgraded to the $20 a month subscription, then you can just go in and say, create me an image of this and that. With Midjourney, that's on Discord, and I know Discord can be kind of scary for a lot of people. The best way to think about Discord is kind of like it's a platform that has a bunch of Facebook groups, and inside of those Facebook groups are different chat rooms. So with Midjourney, I actually have it up here. So with Midjourney, you'll have your different groups on the left-hand side, and here in Midjourney, in these newbie rooms, is where you create your images. So with Midjourney, you get a free subscription for a certain amount of images, and then it's like $10 a month for the basic. But in here, in order to create an image, you do a /imagine. And I don't know if someone in the chat wants to give me something, I can put it in there.
I think he said 5 women drinking wine.
Okay, 5.
Oh, a black and white image of 5 women drinking wine.
Drinking wine, and you use a comma to separate things. So five women drinking wine, black, and white image. And then there's a whole bunch of things you can do, but if you want to change the size, you do --AR, which is aspect ratio, and then you can change it to 1:2, 2:1, whatever you want. We'll just do regular. If you don't do it, then it just gives you a square image. So 5 women drinking wine, it'll take usually takes 30 seconds or ish, and then it'll give you 4 options. And of those 4 options, you can choose to upscale. And upscaling just basically means you're making it bigger and increasing the resolution. So, and after that, there's a lot of cool other tools you'll see for whichever one you've decided to upscale.
We're in these chat rooms, other people are using them, and we're seeing their images scrolling through, right?
Yes, exactly. So all of these have been created. You can see a raccoon. Oh, that's a good children's style one. Raccoon and a rabbit shaking, high-fiving in a forest. I'm not sure what shaking high-fiving is, but you'll see how it gives them I'm sure if he said just high five, it might be better. But right here, you see like an arm sticking out of his head.
Yeah. And like Brett was saying, if you decided, oh my gosh, this is perfect, I want to use this for a children's book, trying to have those same ones doing different things, and it's not simple. Although I think that the way that AI is quickly accelerating its abilities, it won't be long before we'll be able to tell it to keep the consistency, or name the character this, now turn them in different styles, different sizes. You can create a character sheet. Did you know that, Brett?
I think I've heard that. I have not done it.
Yeah, so you can create a character sheet with different angles and different emotions, which can be really interesting as well.
So this is what we got. We didn't get 5 women, we got 3, which is not bad. And it definitely looked more like a realistic image. If we want, we could say noir, or
yeah, we didn't really tell it what style that we wanted.
Yeah, we didn't specify, but let's go ahead and just so here you'll see U1 and V1. That just means upscale. That'll make it bigger. And V1, so this is the first one. If we do V1, it'll create a variation of that one. So I don't know, let's upscale this one. And upscaling is pretty quick for that. So here's what we got. Not bad, but you can see here the fingers. Midjourney is just not good at fingers yet, and hands. So, but the main thing is, if you find an image, like let's go back to the card. If you're looking for a cartoon one, or a children's book's illustration, and let's say you see this, you can take this 4th one and give it to your illustrator and say, hey, can we do the book kind of in this style?
Right.
This is kind of how I've envisioned it, and they can clean it up, fix the eye here, and they'll use that style. And then down here, you can upscale it more, which just increases the resolution. And then there's other cool things like zoom out will basically zoom out and create more illustration around it. And then you can vary the illustration as well. These arrows, you can basically increase on one of the sides. So if I hit this down arrow, then it would increase the illustration on the bottom. It would add to the bottom. I would suggest, I mean, playing around with both, but Dolly is a lot more user-friendly for beginners. So if you
it's funny because I use ChatGPT all the time, but I don't do it to create images. So I would love to see if we could do, maybe we could do the same five women drinking wine in black and white on ChatGPT and see what we come up with.
Yeah, definitely. And I would generally, if you're doing, I mean, ChatGPT is pretty good at differentiating, but like if you have a theme going, like this is all sci-fi, then ChatGPT generally remembers what you've been giving it. So it's has a tendency to create, it might create something in a sci-fi 5 girls drinking wine. So to start a new chat, you just go over here and type in 5 girls drinking wine in a black and white image. And we'll do, so ChatGPT can also do the aspect ratio. So if you do the --AR, you can do square, vertical, and horizontal. It's not as versatile as Midjourney, but let's just do 2x1, and you'll see how you get kind of the landscape
And
image.
Then Renee's also asking, can you make a silhouette out of it? Can you try to
yeah.
something?
So here's a cool message. We can't create an image of them consuming wine. So a lot of times you'll get this, but a lot of times you can kind of figure out a way around it. So we can try 5 girls holding wine glasses.
Wine tasting.
Yeah. In a black and white image, AR aspect ratio 2x1. So we'll see. They're not drinking this time. They're just holding it. And sometimes that'll help.
Maybe girls should be women, because girls kind of make it like they're minors.
5 women at a wine tasting. I don't know if this will work. All right, so then sometimes it gives you some more options. So understand what you're looking for in this image. I cannot directly provide this. And it gives you an option of what it could do. So then I can just say, great, let's do that. Or it won't. Let's create the image with that prompt you gave me. Struggling here. Looks like we're not getting 5 women with wine tonight. We could 5 women drinking soda pop. We'll see.
Silhouette. Can we do a silhouette?
Silhouette.
It's fun to play around with, like Brett was saying, sometimes it can be a little tricky.
Oh, I see. I see the problem.
What's that?
It says I'm unclear for some reason. I don't know why. That's weird. Um, Usually you can just say talk to it and create an image, but for some reason it's making me go into Dolly currently. Maybe it
Oh,
was the five women that messed it up. Five women drinking soda. We can just do comma, black and white.
there's a lot of YouTube videos out there that, like, if you want to learn more advanced prompting and how to generate more of these images. I just thought when Brett and I met earlier and he was showing me the book he was creating, and perhaps we could just show a page of how you've incorporated the imagery with your phonics book.
Mm-hmm.
Be really cool, because that's what made me think, wow, this could be a viable way for people to incorporate these things and, not have to have each and every single page illustrated, right? There's a way,
Mm-hmm.
some of these simpler books, to make it more quick to get through this process.
Yes, exactly. So here we go. With the silhouette, it gave us so you can choose between these two. How many got? Seven women in there?
It's, yeah, it's not as smart as we would like it to be.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. So
and
that's the thing.
sometimes it's about, the way that we're prompting, it isn't giving it enough information too, so that there's an art
Yeah.
form. Actually, I've been seeing some positions popping up. We're looking to hire a prompt expert, and that's become a job, a
Yeah,
quite
exactly.
lucrative job, to generate imagery and things like that. And I thought that was quite interesting when I saw that.
We'll try one more, and then I'll go over to the phonics. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm definitely not an expert. I've just used it a lot. So on YouTube and on TikTok too, there's lots of good people on TikTok that will show you how to create different images and it'll give you different prompts. In my experience, I mean, you can create a great prompt, but in the end, especially with illustrations, here we go. It just the prompts are gonna give you varying illustrations each time. So I don't spend too much time on creating the perfect prompt. But
Mhm.
as you can see here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, here are 5. Sitting in a 50s style diner drinking soda pop, uh, which is pretty good. So yeah, that's DALL-E. I'm not sure why it wouldn't let us create on that other one because usually you could just say, "Hey, create me an image" in the middle of your conversation, and it will.
Hmm.
So in here, let's see. So this is the Candyland one, and I was thinking, if I can't get the same image, same characters every time, how can I make a book that it doesn't matter whether the cat is blue in this picture and pink in that picture? And with phonics, I think that's the way to go because at that grade level with those phonics, like first grade, kindergarten, um, I mean, you can't really have sentences and words that are too huge and complicated, right? They're learning basic AT first and then CH sounds. But
Mhm.
my thing was, how can we make these books more fun, right? I mean, might be a boring story, but the illustrations can be fun. So
Yeah.
instead of the regular cartoon cat, I see a cat, you've got this amazing background that the kids can look at. So in here, I see a cat, and then I've kind of incorporated letter tracing that they can do as an activity. So yeah, this is the Candyland one.
To me, that seems like, because I've got an early reader as well, and we broke out the Bob books, and they're so boring, and there's nothing
Hmm.
really colorful to look at. It's not really a lot of fun for her to read them, but this looks like something that she would really enjoy.
Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping. A hat on the rat, and the hat is made of candy. I mean, who wouldn't look at that or take a second look at that, right? It catches your eye. Um, but like I said, it wasn't easy. Sometimes it took 20 tries to get the image that I wanted.
Mhm.
Um, and sometimes you have to see here, I had to put this mouse in here. So I created a separate image with the mouse, and then I put the mouse in this image on Canva.
Mhm.
Um, and there's some that it just frustrates you and you can't do it, and then just put it aside and don't worry about it. You can come back to it later if you're getting frustrated with it, um, or just go a different direction. Don't spend too much time. It can be addicting,
No
but
kidding.
don't spend too much time on it. So yeah, this is it. This one illustration is so Pam has the jam. It's kind of fun. The jam has Pam. I mean, what who doesn't get a chuckle out of Pam being in the jam?
Yeah.
But like for this image, for example, I could not get it the other way around. I wanted it to be Pam has the bad ram, but every time I would do that, it would come back with a different style, or the ram would have crazy teeth, or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell my illustrator, hey, can you do this image and just swap their positions basically?
Mhm.
Um, so if you ever get to that point, you can just give it to someone. There's plenty of people on Fiverr that are super talented. And for one image, it's probably not that expensive for a lot of them.
Right.
So yeah, this is kind of the children's book, and hopefully it gives you some ideas. Um, there's always little things in there like this. I had to put this lollipop in here because he didn't have a hand. So I covered him up with the lollipop. But you have to get creative when you're doing it. And yeah, I think if you haven't tried it, definitely dabble and see what you like and see what you don't like, and see if it can help you in terms of start out just getting ideas. I think that's the best way, is play around and get
Just play,
ideas.
just play and have fun. I'll tell you, and I can share with on my Discord channel with the Mid Journey stuff. I gave my grandkids access. Don't give your grandkids access. Oh my gosh. And all of a sudden I was getting messages, you might want to upgrade. You've run out of, of queries or whatever for
It's
the
happened to
month.
me.
And they create some really odd things that they just think is hilarious. And they're probably going to be prompt geniuses when they grow up. I don't know, but it's quite interesting to see everything that they do.
Yeah, yeah. So go in, play around. I wish I was a little more eloquent, but I mean, like I said, I'm not an
Yeah.
expert on on this, and I wish ChatGPT cooperated with us. But
Yeah, no,
um,
no worries. I think it's a great I just wanted to expose you to things because I mean if you're creating a phonics book or you're creating a story that you just want to have like these fantasy kind of things that you want to play around with or lay out a book or let your child have fun with you and do it together and create something special together. That's my favorite way of using some of this stuff. And we're not trying to put illustrators out of business. I
no.
feel like most of what I do is to help my illustrators see what my vision is and then go from there. but it's quite magical what you can do, and it's only going to get better. So do you really want to be behind? You know, we had a lot of people that dug their heels in when technology started being rolled out, and it ended up being some of the major stuff that has changed the world in so many ways. Just learn a little bit about it. You don't have to do a lot with it, but get familiar with it and see where things are going, because it's in everything. Kathleen
Yes.
says, is a subscription required with DALL-E and Canva?
You know, I've with DALL-E, they originally it was separate, where it was ChatGPT and then a separate platform for DALL-E. I haven't been able to find or figure out how to get back to the regular DALL-E, so I'm assuming they've integrated it with ChatGPT. So I'm at this point, I think you need a subscription to use DALL-E with ChatGPT, but don't quote me on that.
And they're relatively low cost, you know, $20 a month, or
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
gonna play
It's
around for, you know, a couple of weeks or whatever. You can always go to the free account, and all of them have a free account to start with, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Canva has free account. Not sure. So okay, so here you can see the little crown. So that's Canva Pro. So if you wanted to use these features, that's Canva Pro. With Magic Edit, you can do that for free.
Right.
But these other ones require the subscription. And yeah, same thing. I don't think it's that expensive. And if you're going to be doing it a lot, it's definitely worth it.
Awesome. Let me just to go through some of these
Yeah.
questions. Getting
Fire away.
Okay. Sorry, do we have somebody asking a question? Feel free to go ahead. So questions about copyright.
Hi, Brad.
Go ahead.
My question is, Brad, you are use the images generate text to image software is used Magic Media Canva. Text to images beautiful cartoon generate.
I didn't get all that. The text to image, which one?
Yes.
Could you repeat that question again? I didn't get all of it.
Brad, my question is, you are your images generate. What is tools used for text to images prompt generate for cartoons?
For cartoons, I mean, play around with it. We'll do this, and while we're asking questions, we can come back to it.
Okay, very great.
So
yes.
for example, happy squirrel.
Yes.
We could just do a happy squirrel cartoon, and we'll see what that comes up with. But yeah, you just specify if you wanted like a cartoon, 2D cartoon, or maybe it's in the style of Calvin and Hobbes. You could specify that too. You could say happy squirrel style Calvin and Hobbes, or Studio Ghibli is pretty popular to get your different variations on the illustration style.
Let's see. Can you import a picture and ask it to replicate with instructions?
You can. It's not perfect. So I could import a picture, a self-portrait, and on both Midjourney and DALL-E, I think Midjourney might do it better. It's not too complicated, but basically just upload it, and then you copy the link address, and then after you do the /imagine, you put in that link address, and then you tell it how you want to vary it. So you could say retro style or neon style, and it'll do its best to replicate you in Midjourney. There's other AI illustrators that will not create a whole new image. They'll just use AI to make you watercolor or make you pixelated or whatever you want. With Midjourney and DALL-E, it'll create a whole new image, so you might see more variations on your face and just in general.
So I'm happy to share just some images, and don't laugh at my
Mm.
crazy things that I'm doing here with my grandkids when we are together. It's funny. So we created this little character here. So I put a children's book cartoon character, full body, dapple tan and gray female dachshund with a pink heart collar and pink bows on her ears. And you can see some of the, so we have been learning and playing around with those prompts. And this is a great way for me to say, okay, this, I can take this and then pass it over to, and of course I played around with it quite a bit. This is another one that I really love because I've been in my mind brewing a middle grade book, and it's about a girl who's going through abuse at home. And I played around a lot trying to come up with different looks to the character in the front cover. And then I kind of found I was playing, and you can see a sad 10-year-old girl with brown hair swinging, facing forward. So a lot of this, the modifications I'm making to the prompt are because I've been practicing with this for a while and trying to get it better and better. You can also create coloring pages, which is really cool. A coloring page of a fairy princess in a garden, thick lines, black and white. And something like that is really a cool thing that you can do, whether maybe you're making a lead magnet or something like that. And we've been playing around with this stuff for a while. Now, why one of my grandkids thought this would be fun, I have no idea. But I told you they have crazy minds, my grandkids. A 3-foot girl riding a fish in a whimsical style. I have no idea.
You're
And
gonna get a lot of crazy images if you're playing around with this.
with, I don't know what the heck they were thinking.
Mermaids, it struggles with mermaids. It'll do half fish sometimes.
I
So
just, I just think it's hilarious. And then I've got the whimsical fairy offering a flower to a bunny. So they were playing around with these things. Some of this is really cool. A dog with a little girl watching a stream flow. And you can see the different options it gives you, and then you can dig further into them, and you can see they were playing with that. Oh, and here's, they're just practicing. And the one that does this most is my 10-year-old granddaughter, Isabella. Look at that. Just creating this, like, so many.
and it really just helps you visualize. So if you're like struggling in your story.
So if you come into this thinking AI is evil and I never want to look at it, like, you're missing out on some things that can just pique your imagination. So here's some things. Again, the mind of a 10-year-old and 9-year-old and my 7-year-old granddaughter, Kyrie. This I thought was really cool. I started saying, I wonder if I love the whimsical styles. I think they're really cool. What if we tried to do some things with just whimsical styles? And it's just a children's book illustration that conveys the emotion of respect, whimsical, gentle. And it came up with this. I mean, I don't know if that conveys respect, but I do love the style of it. And we've been doing, playing around with things like that. These are just kind of interesting. Now, this guy, I generated him through AI and I fell in love with him. So I feel like he needs his own book. I just love him so much. So, and you can see it's a cartoon character sheet of a goofy and anxious anteater with an extra long nose in a whimsical style. And I just, so I'm thinking about maybe an anteater that doesn't like ants. Like some crazy thing we'll pull together with my grandkids. And we started now, cartoon. I want to show you the character sheets. Oh, here's Grumpy Cat. This is the one that my illustrator just couldn't get what I was talking about. Like, he had to be really chubby. He had to be like grouchy. And so and we finally got it and then sent it over to the illustrator so that he could work on the current book. A gray grumpy cat walking along the side of a paved street in a whimsical style. Children's book illustration. That's key too. It's like that really does help with getting, and we had, tried like this, they kept coming in with things that looked sad.
Yeah, the children's book, I think, really helps it understand what kind of style, because there's so many different styles of cartoons, but children's books have a different style to them. So using that really helps it understand.
And when we first started with Grumpy Cat, we had all these different things it was putting together. It took us a while. And the book that I'm generating that has Grumpy Cat in it is also a Christmas book. So I wanted to include a Christmas scene that I could hand to my illustrator and say, this is what I want the interior, like when I say in a Christmas, in the living room with Christmas, whatever, this is kind of what I'm talking about. So because the illustrators are from India, do they know exactly what I'm expecting from a New England Christmas and, the style that I would want? So a children's book illustration, Disney Pixar style, Christmas decorations, Christmas tree with presents underneath. So, and I just really liked it. And this I ended up sending over. And it took me a little while of just trying different things to come up with a good Christmas thing. These are, great little, again, children's Christmas book illustration. If you want the Disney Pixar style. So if you know what the style is called, you can do that. Kids making a snowman in a large open field. So you can see like playing around with this stuff. And this one I just love. I love so we were trying to generate, some kind of an image that looks a little bit like my 7-year-old granddaughter, Kyrie, who is going to be in that Christmas book. So 7-year-old child, short blonde hair, blue eyes, cheerful emotions, walking in the rain. And it generated a number of different options there. We ended up with that one. I really liked that a lot.
Kathleen is asking, is it possible to get a style that you like, such as a collie dog by the river and one of your examples that you had earlier, and have it take the look for the entire book?
No, not that I'm aware of.
In my experience, no.
I think we're going there eventually with AI, because how can it not?
Yeah, it's getting better slowly.
I want to show the character sheets too. So here, yeah, these are some of the things that I was generating. Full body portraits. I was trying to create an AI assistant for myself. So that's where that came from. I'm still not finished with that.
Kathleen, it will create something similar, but you're never going to be able to get it to be the exact same collie dog.
Right.
And it may take 2 or 3 tries to get that same similar dog. So you can get something similar, but it's not going to be the exact same.
Bear with me. I'm going to, oh, and by the way, it does have some amazing realistic illustrations. If you say hyper realistic in your prompt, this is the kind of, and photorealistic, you're going to get some just really detailed images that it generates, which might be good for like social media or something where you really want people like to stop and pay attention. I'm going to stop the share for a moment while I find the character sheet, because I don't want to make you sick with all this scrolling. But I'm going to find the character sheets and show you that you can actually create a character sheet, which is a great way of, getting the same image from different angles and with different expressions. And maybe that can help you put some of this together. But that's one of the things that I've found. When I discovered someone else doing a character sheet, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize you could do that. Now I have the same character in a number of different poses.
I think Midjourney has a weekly live chat that you can join too, and they answer questions there as well.
Yeah. Do we have any questions here? Oh, here we go. Here's a character sheet. I'll go back to sharing in just a moment here. My granddaughter was, doing a little something with, where's my share screen? With unicorns. She was a bit into the unicorn stuff. So a 3-year-old unicorn with blue, I don't know why it had to be 3 years old. That's my 7-year-old, with blue eyes and pink body and rainbow mane, character sheet, multiple angles and emotions. So you can see that, I mean, that's probably the most that I know how to do in order to get some similar poses that you could, of course, put into different backgrounds and illustrations, like you were saying, Brett.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
together, like, so you can see very similar type characters in a number of different poses. We're able
I was
to,
gonna say,
and also a great way to create some stickers and things like that too. Could be really cool.
yeah, this is probably the best way to get an idea of kind of how you want your character to be and give it to your illustrator. That way they can put it in the book, but you're not going to be able to get it scene by scene, the same exact one.
It just
Um,
not yet.
And then Sarah asked, are you able to copyright images, or do you have to go without a copyright? So what I have found out, and I mean, it's always changing, but so the images you're creating with AI are public domain. So if you create an image, you can sell it, but it's public domain, so anyone else can sell it. If you take that image and you put it in a book, say like I'm doing, or if you create a comic book, whatever it is, and you add to it, then you can copyright that entire work. You don't own the copyright to the individual images in your work, but if you've created a story behind these images and used them in a children's book, then you can copyright your book and your book would be safe. But if someone wanted to, I don't pull out one of your images, or I don't know how they would do that in your ebook or whatever, they could do that and they could sell that image because the individual images are public domain.
Got it. Thank you for that. That's good to know. So I do have a Discord channel that has Midjourney connected, and that is why you saw that. If you are interested, Midjourney is really just a social media thing. So if you create an account on Midjourney, and just email me, I'll add you to my account, and then you can use the features that are on my channel, and they also aren't going to be shared with anyone else other than people on my own channel. It's not shared with like everybody, the popular things going on with the rest on the main Midjourney Discord account. So it's kind of a cool way to play around with it for free. It won't cost you anything to you just need to have a Discord account, and then I can connect you to my channel and you can play around and see. And you can also, check out if you go to Discord and join the Discord channel as well, you can see what a number of other people are generating, like we just saw when Brett was sharing. And underneath, you get to see their prompts. So you can kind of scroll through and go, wow, that is amazing. What did they use for that? The other thing I just recently discovered is when I go to ChatGPT and I give it a bunch of information and say, can you please create a prompt for me that will help me generate this type of image in Midjourney or whatever I'm asking, it will create the prompt that will get me close to exactly what I'm looking for. So ChatGPT does really good with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and if you're looking, I mean, if you're not sure what to give ChatGPT, there's tons of stuff on YouTube, Reddit, wherever. You can just search for prompts, and you'll find lots of cool prompts that people have created, and you can just use those.
Yeah, that's right.
I think AJ, do you use Bing Image Creator since it's powered by DALL-E 3? Trying to figure out how to get DALL-E account to play, free DALL-E account to play with images. I have not used Bing. I've used Bard a couple of times, Google's Bard, but not for images. I have no idea about Bing's AI, and if Google has an AI illustrator, I'm not sure. I mainly Dolly and ChatGPT and Midjourney.
Right. Okay, so I hope I opened your imagination a little bit, and we can take the next half an hour that we're together, and I'm happy to just open it up for any questions. I like to have special guests every once in a while and just give you a little something more to be able to just imagine and think about what you could be doing to help enhance your books or enhance your social media marketing and other things, even if all you're creating is a lead magnet, something that can go with your book, or coloring pages, things like that. There are ways that you can do things that and keep the cost reasonable. It's just a matter of work on trying to get those prompts right, but it is fun. Do it with your grandkids and you will have a blast. And yeah, it gets their creativity going too, and it gets your mind turning about like all the different ways you might be able to use this yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, thanks for having me on. Hopefully I can come on in the future with a bit more of an organized presentation that runs through step by step what things are and how to use them.
We'd love to have you back.
Do that.
What you did really just showed not only that, because if you had an organized presentation with an exact prompt that you put out there and it generated perfection, we wouldn't have seen that, hey, this can be a frustrating process to learn. Sometimes it doesn't give you what you want. And I think that's more valuable, actually. So we appreciate having you here. You're welcome to hang out for the last 30 minutes or so, or if you need to drop, that's fine as well.
Yeah, no, I have to actually get back to work. I've got a couple of things I have to finish.
Okay.
But thank you so much. It was nice seeing the people that were here that I've known, and new people too. If you have any questions, I'm sure just ask April, and April can get me in touch with whoever. But thank you.
Yeah. And I do see a question from Kathleen coming from YouTube here. It says, do you have any tips for making a person do sign language? I've had challenge with hands. I'm sorry, Kathleen, but I think you've got some time that you're going to have to wait for for it to get to the perfection of being able to do that. Unfortunately, I think that we're just not there because, as Brett mentioned, hands are difficult. Perhaps you could try with uploading reference images and seeing if it can convert that into an animated style that you might be looking for. That could be one way. I mean, you could continue to try. And if I get an opportunity to play around with it, I'm happy to play around and get back to you on that. Do I have any questions from those that are still on with us or on YouTube? If you're on YouTube, feel free to go ahead and post your questions in the chat. I am monitoring that as well as here online with folks. And we can open it up to any self-publishing question. Feel free to post it in the chat or take yourself off mute and just ask your question. Hi, Sarah. So nice to see you. Okay, so let's see. This was fascinating. Thanks so much. See you next time. Thanks, Kathleen. Nice to have you here as well. Okay, got a bunch of folks that have to go, which is fine. If we don't have a lot of questions, I'm happy to move and just shut down early. But like I said, if I do this each Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern and 8 o'clock Eastern, just to give you an opportunity to get your questions answered. Go ahead, Zilquarnian.
Yeah, Brad, my question is I am first time author book published and launched on Amazon. How how to check and find number my book? How to rank number? What is tools for best for Amazon categories rank my book number?
Yeah, so
How to check?
are you talking about your bestseller ranking
Yes.
and the categories? So I love Publisher Rocket when it comes to finding the right categories. I find that it is hands down the best place to go to find and understand categories and whether your book is competitive, or where your book can be more competitive, where there's less competition for you. I'm just going to push it up and do just a little demonstration here on the category search part of it. Thank you for the question. So this is Publisher Rocket. It is created by Dave Chesson at kindlepreneur.com. It is, hold on, I'm just going to enter it into, so kindlepreneur.com is where you can find out more about this. And it is a tool that you can do keyword searching, competitive analysis, category search. You can have it generate a bunch of keywords for you. And there's a ton of tutorials here. The thing that I love it for most is the category search. If you go onto Amazon, there's a bazillion categories for all kinds of things. For example, arts and photography, and this is alphabetical. These are all just the high level categories that are available on Amazon. If you search for something like, let's see, yours is an alphabet book, right? So if we said alphabet, it'll show all of the categories that have the word alphabet in the description. Now, sales to number one, there's this row here allows us to order by sales to number one. So if you only have to do 4 sales to be number one in that category, it is much less competitive than this one over here where you're doing basic concepts alphabet. So there you have to sell 381 books. Now this is in a 24-hour period. So this is a day. As we hover over this, it says this is the number of books you need to sell per day in order to rank number one for this category. So if you're trying to launch a book and you want your book to be a bestseller, then having something like this where you can pull it up by search term, or this is one of the ways that I use it that not many people understand you can do. I'm going to go to children's books, and then all of the subcategories under children's books are going to load. Now I come here and I arrange by the least competitive. So I can see that there are a number of low competition categories here. If you have a book on Hinduism for kids, then you can sell 2 copies in a day and it can be a bestseller in that category, right? So you're able to kind of go through and see like where are some of these less competitive categories that you can, and I would always recommend that you make sure that you are able to, that it's something that's relevant to your book. Because you don't want to be putting your book in basket weaving just because you can be a bestseller in basket weaving. That would be silly. So but sometimes if I'm looking around and I'm not quite sure about other places maybe that could be less competitive, I'll just come here and scroll through the ones that are least competitive, and something will jump out at me and I'm going to be like, oh, the book fits perfectly in that category. Why didn't I think to look for that? And you're able to, like here, books, children's books, geography and cultures, where we live, country life, fiction. And here we go, historical. So maybe there's something holidays and celebrations, Chinese New Year, 9 sales to number 1. So there's a number of categories that you can be extremely competitive in. And you can also look at insights here and keywords. So when we click on keywords, it's going to show you some of the things, some words that you might want to think about as you're starting to pull together your keywords: cycling, sports, outdoors, bikes, adventure. So it gives you some real fantastic information. And so that's number 1, where I would be looking to make sure that you are in the least competitive, well, that you at least have one that's a category that you can compete in. And then the other thing, what's the title of your book? I know I've seen it many times. I just can't remember the title. It's something ABC, right? So Quarnian, could you take yourself off mute?
Yes, ABC coloring tracing book. Zulkan and Ali just name show research, and first page showing my name, Zulkan and Ali. I will share you a link.
So here, let's see. I'm still not finding it. Yeah, if you have the link, that would be fine, because I'll show you where you can find your bestseller ranking. And also, if you go to your author page, that's another one that you can do it as well. Thank you for that. See if it'll let me in. Okay, so here is the book. If you go, I'll show you the other way, but first of all, when you scroll down to where the categories are, oh, come on, I went a little too fast here. Here, you see the category information. It looks like you don't have any sales yet, which is why it's not showing you those things. So until you have more sales in the US, it's probably not going to show for you there. Your BSR bestseller ranking, if you wanted to check it, you might try coming here to your author page and see if you have, because you've got information about the books, and you can dig into some of the information through here. They used to have book scan information. Hold on. There, a lot of things have been changing with the Amazon author site. So it's a little bit more difficult. But the reason why, definitely the reason why you're not seeing things is because of a lack of sales in this particular market that I'm looking in. So let me just put children's book, and I'll just show you. We'll just grab one here that's not sponsored, because I don't want to. All right, we'll do this one. There's no sponsor. I won't cost anybody anything when I click on it. So here's the Wonky Donkey, which is of course rated very high. And if we get down to where the categories are, you can see the bestsellers rank is number 236 in books. It's very popular out of many millions of books that are out there. And then it shows that it's in 2 categories, and it shows what the ranking is within each one of those categories. Okay, so that's where I would look. Your bestseller ranking is there. And hopefully that answered your question. Okay. Anybody else have a question? Let me see. I just saw something in the chat.
Brad, how many sales book in USA first time? Just 2 days lost live in book my Amazon in the world.
How many sales do you need? And is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It depends on the category. So depending on the category.
Category, my education reference coloring book, paintings category, handwriting for categories for kids.
I mean, what I would do is go into your into the publisher Rocket, or send me the information about the category that it's in, and I can look that up for you. And yeah, it because all of these, you know, if you're in a real, like my books are in the dog category. I have to sell a lot of books to be number one on that. But in order for those things for you, you need to at least sell one book in the market for it to even show what your ranking is in that market, and to sell and to see what the categories are in and all that. So you'll need to work on just getting sales moving. And I think we've talked before. My recommendation for yours is to rework that cover. I think that I've got some great designers that can help with that, because the interior is what I would expect for this kind of a book, but the cover is not going to do you any favors with it when it comes to clicks and buys, because you can see when we searched for those ABC books, there are a lot of ABC books doing really well, and they've got beautifully designed covers. It is going to take some work to try to compete with those, and first place to start will definitely have to be that cover redesign. Okay. AJ had a question here. Trying to use DALL-E for free. I had a problem. Just found an article that suggested that I go to bing.com. Thank you for sharing that, AJ. Okay. Perfect. Glad you were able to figure that out and share it with us. All right.
And so I guess I don't even, because I couldn't even, unless it's somewhere I can't. Okay, now it's going faster with the images. Must have, because I just signed up. Maybe it's just taking a while. But I just could not find how to get a free DALL-E account. It kept taking me to Chat GPT and kept trying to, at least for DALL-E 3, it kept trying to get me like to, I guess, sign up for something. And
yeah,
everything.
I think it's like $20 a month. It's not a lot of money. And even if you just sign up and play with it for a month and then stop the subscription, it's very easy to start and stop the subscription there. So
well, now I don't, because Bing says they're offering DALL-E 3 for free.
oh, nice.
You have their email account, so that's why I sent that. So if anyone has a Outlook account, they can just go to that, click on that website, and then yeah, put in your email address, and then it's already attached to your email address apparently anyway. I didn't know that.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. That's great. That's great news. You taught me something today. Here I am trying to teach you guys stuff, and you come in and I learn more from you guys, I think, than you learn from me. So awesome. Kathleen, what do you think? Are you going to use AI and start playing around with it?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
There's like 3 Kathleens. Yeah, I mean, I have been playing around with it, and I have the 4.0 ChatGPT subscription, which is $20 a month. But I also wanted to know if we design a coloring page that, with one of our children's books, can we export it onto our website, our Wix website?
Yeah, sure. You can export it as a PDF or as an image, and you can use it wherever you want. The way that Brett explained it as well, it is just like any public domain thing. Somebody else could use it too. If they save it, you don't have any like copyright protection for it.
Even if it's an image from your book that you've published, it's one of the pages in the book.
Different. That's different. I'm not sure if you end up uploading your image and you say create a coloring page based on the uploaded image. I'm not sure how that would work. That'd be a really good thing to try. Have you tried that yet?
I haven't yet, but I'm just trying to get my feet wet with everything. And then I actually wanted to make like a number, where the dot to dot, number. And then at the end, of course, you've done these when you were kids, then they makes the image.
Yep.
So it's, but yeah, I'm still very, very green to all this. So I'm just going to play around with it.
Well, I will say that if you are looking to take your book illustrations and turn them into some coloring pages and activity books, I have a fantastic resource for you. and I'll put it here, is praisesaffler.com. She is a designer that has a couple of people dedicated to working on exactly that. So if you can't learn how to generate them yourself, then you can absolutely go to Praise, and she has a free consult on her website. You can schedule some time, talk with her, and she'll be able to give you some quotes. Usually it's, you know, $10 to $20 per page, depending on what you know, how difficult or what the level of complexity is for what you're doing. Okay.
Thank you. And I also wanted to know what the main difference is for your Amazon ad versus the passive ticket. I mean, apart from the cost, of course, but
Yeah, so I have 2 more spaces left for people that want to basically be hands-on working with me. So I'm going to do it in groups of 5. So 5 people together are going to go through 12 weeks with me. And at the beginning, you're not going to know much about Amazon ads, or you're frustrated because you're working and trying to get things selling and they're just not working. We're going to start at the basics. We're going to create ads together, and basically you're going to be hands-on with me. We'll do, okay, share your screen. What are you having trouble with? How are things going? And you're going to get me coaching you through for 12 weeks. And then for those, and I had so many people that wanted to be in on this, but I could only do it in a small group. So I said, you know what I'll do? I'll open it up for active participants who want to follow along on the training, but they wouldn't be like there with me in doing all of this, sharing, doing the hands-on help in that work, in that small group session, but they could have access to the recordings.
so this would be, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Would this be specific to our book once we get it past once it's ready to launch? I mean,
Yeah,
obviously you'd have to be at that point.
Yeah, so when you're going through the launching of your book, you're going to focus on, first of all, if you're getting ready for launch, you need to make sure that you are creating a launch team, that you have a good, solid marketing plan. And if you don't have those things and you need help with getting ready for launch, then I have a lot of YouTube videos. If you're in my author work group, then we're gonna hold your hand through all of that. If you and once you pass that point where your book is launched and get it to, I say, probably 10 or more reviews, then you're ready to kick in with Amazon ads, because there are millions of books on Amazon, and you are going to need to get some visibility for your book. Otherwise, people will not be able to find your book at all. So for each person that wants to participate in this work group of this little group of mine that are doing the hands-on portion, which is $4.99 for 12 weeks, $499. I am first, they have to pass a little test with me, because I go in and make sure it's got a good solid cover, the description is good, and I'm giving people feedback now because our group is starting in February, and I don't want them to have to pay for Amazon ads if their listing is not quite where it should be. So great cover, great hook, great description, A+ content to help make sure that we turn browsers into buyers. And that once we know that that is all set, you are good to go to be part of the work group, because I really want to see a lot of effective change in that 12-week period. And we've got 3 months. It takes a good solid month or so to like start getting your book served, start dialing things in, another month to really hone in on what's going on with your ads. What are the best keywords? What are the best products to target? And so every week we're going to be learning something new around Amazon ads. So if your book's not quite ready, or you're still learning, you still have some things to clean up, I highly recommend signing up for just that passive ticket, which is $49. You'll get all my training for 12 weeks, 90-day sessions for 12 weeks. So it's something that you can go back and revisit at any time when you're ready to get started with ads.
Are you planning on having another work group later in the year?
I'm sure I will if this is as successful as I think it will be. But I wanted to prove to myself that I could take a small group of people and actually that what I'm teaching is going to be effective. I want to see more orders. I want to see less cost for the same amount of orders. And I want to see that I am able in this small group platform to transform and help people sell more books. And so that if this works well, then yes. If it's just not effective, then, you know, or if it's not as effective as I want it to be, then I'll take some time to regroup, rework, and then do something once we have an updated version for folks.
Okay.
By the way, I also
I-
recommend if you are someone who is looking to learn a little bit about Amazon ads, today is when Brian Cohen launched his week-long challenge for Amazon ads. It's completely free. And if you look up Brian Cohen, Bryan Cohen, Cohen, Amazon ads challenge. It's a 1-week challenge where you are going to learn about Amazon ads. You're going to get in there. You're going to start creating ads and getting familiar. And that will really help you to just get a good background and an introduction to Amazon ads. He does also have, you know, at the end of the challenge, you have the ability to buy into his Amazon ads school. And I highly respect what he does. And I think that these challenges are amazing ways to help people learn a little bit about it, whether they can afford to go into an ads challenge or sign up for my stuff. It's a great way to get you started. Okay. And he does it every quarter.
April,
Yep.
I think I was kind of talking over somebody else, and I apologize for
No
that.
problem. Go ahead, Dee.
Do you want? Hi. You know, so I'm going to be doing you know, in school presentations. So should I concentrate on one of these things at a time, or should I kind of put them in the ads in tandem with doing the schools? And is that going to be too crazy to try to, you know, coordinate together? Should I just do one at a time and then go the other direction?
Yeah, I think it's really a personal decision. I'm leaning, knowing you as long as I have, I'm leaning towards a single focus for you. And if getting into the schools and marketing to schools is really important because and you're going to profit more doing that as well, then I would focus the attention on that. And you know, there'll still be time to learn other things. This authorpreneurial journey that we're on is going to last years. And so there's plenty of time. Look at what your goals are and think about which one thing is the most important to start with now. That would be my recommendation, Dee.
Okay, all right, because I'm definitely interested in the $49 just to tag
Yeah.
along and do
Yeah.
kind of sit in on the,
Mhm.
you know, on what you're doing, and then maybe zero in once I get a solid thing going with the schools. Because I think you're right. I think I'll make if I can get into the schools, and you know, and I thought that I could, but now I'm learning that maybe it's not quite as simple or quite as, you know, forthcoming as I thought that it was going to be. But you know, I'm still not there yet, so it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see.
My best advice to you with regard to getting into schools is to you know, have a one pager that talks about you and your book that you're going to be showing. And one way that is really easy to get into and get a little bit of experience without a lot of you know, difficulty in breaking through is to find local preschools in your area.
Right.
Preschool.
Right. In fact, I
love
have one
that.
preschool that I've already started, and hopefully, because Montessori is kind of you know, they're specialized, and if you can get into one, then it's highly possible you can, that
Yeah.
will extend to others, and
That's
then I
exactly
can
right.
go from
Yeah,
there.
the other recommendation I have is every presentation that you do, have a form to hand the teacher and to just write notes on things that worked well and opportunities that to improve, to give you a little feedback, a feedback form, right? And then
Right.
at the end of that form, ask, could you list 3 people that you think might be interested in me coming to visit? And you're going to
Good
leave
plan.
with 3 recommendations.
Absolutely.
Because
Great plan. Thank
because
you.
you asked, right? You asked, you're looking
Right.
for feedback, you're looking for growth. So many people do this and just never ask. They never ask.
I know. That
Referral.
would be me, because you don't think about it.
Right, right.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
We are at the end of our time together. I am so happy that you were able to be here. Hi, Sarah. Have a good night, everybody. And we'll be back with my author work group on Tuesday. We just had our first session this past Tuesday, and it's an amazing group of people that are gathered together to publish their books. There is very little time left, but I do have a few days. If you register by Sunday, then we can still get you in to the work group. So if you are a children's book author that is confused and looking to get together and to get some hand-holding on publishing your book, then you can check out my website at selfpubmadesimple.com, and you can set up a discovery call and let's get you in so that we can get things started and you don't fall too behind. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.